What's going on, everybody? C4 here. Welcome back to the channel. In a little bit of a mood right now. Just watched my favorite soccer team, Arsenal, lose 2-1. And I've been sitting back and just kind of looking at all the fallout of the initial launch and teaser and sizzle and stuff of Madden 21. We've talked about the trailer, all the dislikes, and the first blog post that went up, and the lack of franchise. And then we saw what happened in EA Play. 5 seconds of game. Well, it was something ridiculous of gameplay. Could make a mountain out of a molehill here and talk about that gameplay for 10 minutes, but don't really want to do that today, and I don't want to really rehash everything we've already talked about the mass dislikes. And I do think, though, it needs to be reiterated that I think that this is the first time as a community that I think we've made an impact with letting our voices be heard. It feels like our voices are never listened to, and I mean, it's not really a feeling. It's if you are in touch with the community, you know what people want in the game, and every year it's not really what people want to see. So there is a very clear disconnect. But I do think all the dislikes and the fact that the video was trending, that's gonna go across someone's desk. They're gonna look at that and go, "Oh, that's not good. Those are not the numbers you want to look for." And I think that's gonna be a lot more impactful than when people on the forums and stuff like that are saying they're gonna boycott the game. And then that paper makes it across someone's desk. And they're like, "Oh, we've sold 1,000 less physical hard copies this year. But hey, look at this. Microtransaction numbers are up. Great job on the promo, fellas." So I really do think that the dislikes and all that stuff is good. And I'm not going to tell you to go dislike that video. There's a lot of people that like that video. And by all means, just let your voices be heard. That's all I can really stress. If you really like the game, you like the direction of the game, go like that trailer. Let them know that you like what they're doing. If you dislike it, make sure you go dislike it and tell them that, this isn't good enough. This is not what I want to see. But in today's video, like I said, I've been sitting back. I've been seeing how some of the, the developers and stuff that have been active on social media have been kind of responding to the initial backlash about franchise mode. And it's definitely been underwhelming. Hasn't inspired much hope. Hasn't got me excited to wait for the franchise deep dive blog, which, at the end of the day, the bottom line through my first 2 videos reacting about Madden 21, I've kind of been convincing myself and trying to maybe convince you guys. Wait until the franchise mode. That's going to be the drop-off point. When they get that franchise mode deep dive, then you can make your decision whether or not you're not buying this game, whether or not you should, trash this game, or, hey, they might surprise us, and they might put in some stuff that we really want that's going to sneak in there somehow. And I don't know what that's going to be, but that's going to be what I'm going to try to do in this video. I'm going to try and give you my predictions. We predict about everything on the channel. I predict about NFL records, I predict mock drafts, predict Madden ratings. Why not predict what I think is going to happen here in Madden 21's franchise mode, what we're going to get? And I feel like I've been around long enough. I've been, what was it, Madden 10 was my first Madden 11 maybe was my first Madden here on the channel. And I've been around a lot of releases. And a fellow YouTuber, RBT, made a tweet saying, like, has there ever been a Madden that's been this underwhelming, that's been this underhyped, that's been this negatively received ever? Like, I can't remember a time. I genuinely can't remember a time. And especially for franchise mode. Like, I remember the only thing that's even somewhat similar in franchise mode was Madden 18. When in Madden 18, the big headline feature for Madden franchise mode, the big top community request that they filled was adding customizable draft boards for online franchises. Which, I mean, if you're an online franchise, hey, good for you. But that's such an incredibly minuscule and niche upgrade that was really a cop-out. And then I remember for the rest of the blog and stuff like that, you're getting like other features kind of piggybacked and lumped in, right? You'd get gameplay features squeezed into the franchise blog. You'd get general Madden fixes squeezed into the franchise blog. And I do kind of get the feeling in the pit of my stomach that it's going to be another year like that. So before we get into my predictions and stuff like that, we need to, there's going to be an elephant, and that's an excuse. The excuse elephant. We'll call it that. One is going to be the pandemic, that they're going to be like, well, because of the pandemic, a little bit light this year. Which, I mean, that's a valid point. It affected every single person and it would restrict your job. However, I mean, things didn't start going to lockdown until March? The game was pretty much done. Like, they're probably getting ready for alpha come March, if not even further along in the game development cycle. The direction that this game was set, I would guess October, November, probably of last year, if not sooner. So I don't really feel like that's going to be a valid excuse if they decide to go that route. Another one would be it's a new console year, right? Has there ever been a good Madden when they're making the transition? Like, whenever Madden was coming out between the 360 and the One, was that a good Madden, or was it a little bit light because, obviously a little bit more work, and you have to diversify your development team because you have two different consoles and games you need to make. So that could be another argument, which could be valid. I mean, I don't think I can recall off the top of my head. I probably could have done way more research before I talked about this point, but I just feel like there's never really been like a strong title in that transitionary type year. So there are two excuses there, and I hope we don't see any, because I hope when the franchise blog comes out, I'm still trying to convince myself to be optimistic that it's going to be dope. But here are my predictions. Here are my predictions for what we are going to get 5 minutes into the video about what a YouTuber thing to do. About what we're going to get in Madden 21's franchise mode. One thing, and I feel like out of anything I'm going to say, this is going to be the most for sure thing. I think they're going to group in the new X Factors with franchise mode. Now, they shouldn't. They should probably have a separate blog post, forum, whatever they want to do for releasing for just the X Factors. I don't know why I feel like that. I just feel like if they're going light on the features, it's going to be like, hey, look, X Factors, put that in with the franchise stuff. And you know if we're getting that, it's going to be some bullshit. We're not going to get a whole lot of things, because that's not a franchise feature. It applies to franchise, but it applies to every other mode. But that's just one thing I think that we're going to get in the franchise blog. I think another thing will be the scenarios. We've already found out that Face of Franchise is going to be multi-year. And every single year, you're going to have a different storyline. I don't know how many exactly. There might only be 3-4 years of storylines, but there are going to be different storylines in the scenario engine in Face of Franchise. I think they'll probably have those available in connected franchise mode. So that's another thing, that they're kind of just piggybacking a feature for their big baby, their big new shiny mode that they want to promote and develop the hell out of it feels like, and give all the attention to in Face of Franchise. And they'll just group that over with franchise mode. And the thing that's most disappointing is that Face of Franchise, in a way, an objective of it is to onboard new players into franchise mode, because obviously you do all the cutscenes and stuff like that. But ultimately, when the end goal is you're going to go into your NFL career, it's essentially franchise mode. You're trying to onboard more users to go in and play franchise mode, which is a good thing. But why put all the time and effort in Face of Franchise, a mode that I don't think is overly well received, because it's something that's been done before and done better, and a lot of people know that and realize that. I don't know the analytics behind it. I would love to see it, but I know for a fact from YouTube that's a metric that Face of Franchise content doesn't come anywhere near franchise mode content. So if you're using all your resources and spending all your time on the onboard to franchise mode, people are going to get disappointed, because they're like, there's no depth. What is going on in franchise mode? I don't want to continue my Face of Franchise because this is boring. This is stupid. There's nothing else to do. There's no reason to play more than a year or two, because it's the same kind of thing, right? So it just feels like their priorities are a little bit mixed up from that standpoint, because I know for a fact, I've been in the room, Face of Franchise, a goal of it, a major goal, is to onboard users into franchise mode. But when franchise mode is lacking, you're not going to retain those users. Those are going to be guys that bail. They're going to go, no, not for me. I'm done. So, yeah, we're going to get those Face of Franchise pigeonhole. I think, what else? I mean, to leave the Face of Franchise scenarios, that could be good, though. There could be some good in that. If they make the scenarios impactful, if they add in different ways that could ruin your franchise, which is exactly what franchise players want, as weird as that is to say. Like, I want players that demand trades. I want players that hold out. I want players that don't like teammates, and we have to find a way to figure that out. Be it trade a guy, be it, something like that. I want friction. I want conflict. I want the scenario engine to be a headache for the right reasons. And it could be. Maybe that's what we're going to get from the Face of Franchise, but maybe not. And then maybe not if we get just more scenarios that really, in the grand scheme of things, don't matter. I mean, what's it all for? What's it good for? Other new feature, I mean, they could expand on Fog of War a little bit. That whole, when you draft a guy, they come with a hidden dev trait, and you got to play snaps with them to figure out what their dev trait is. They could expand that. I'm not exactly sure how they would without retooling scouting like we want, and I don't think that we're going to be getting retooled scouting. Hopefully I'm surprised. But yeah, I think that the big two is that they're going to talk about how X Factors are new for franchise, and how they're going to talk about the scenario engine, how they're going to fix the scenario engine, but ultimately it's just really what they're getting in Face of Franchise carried over and piggybacked into connected franchise mode. Now, those are just my predictions. That's all I'm really guessing right now for franchise mode. I hope I'm wrong, but that's kind of just, I'm sitting back here and I'm just looking at all the people kind of responding that probably know what's in the Madden game right now, and it doesn't seem like we're not getting that Just you wait for the franchise blog. Franchise blog coming out in 3 weeks. Can't wait to drop. It's just, oh, I don't know, but look at this instead. You know, they're trying to distract from the point that it's not good. Things are not good right now on the Madden front. And lastly, I'm just going to finish with how I'm feeling directly to you guys. I mean, I know that there's a feeling that Madden, the people that, you know, figure out the direction of the Madden games aren't listening. They have no idea. They're just blinders to anyone that wants something done for franchise mode. I can tell you for a fact that to a person who would have influence's face, they know what we want in franchise mode. I don't know. I don't want to go too far into that, but I know for an absolute fact that all the ideas, all the true top community requests have been presented and discussed, and our voices have been heard about what we want in a franchise mode. The people who, at the very least, could pitch the idea. I know that it's all about what you can get into a game. And I know that the franchise team, if there is even still a franchise team there at EA, they could pitch whatever they want. They could straight up design and pitch coaching carousel. And then all it takes is for someone up higher than them going, I don't want that this year. Let's spend some more time on Superstar KO, or let's add an extra couple things to face a franchise. That could very well be the case. But I know for a fact that our voices have been heard from people who do have a voice when it comes to what we want in the game. And that's really all we can do at this point, because it's the downside. I'm not going to be a guy that at that jump-off point, at the conclusion of that franchise blog being released, I can't be someone that tells you to boycott the game if you really don't like it, because that'd be hypocritical. I'm going to buy the game. I'm going to play the game. I have to play the game. It's my job. This is how I feed my family and keep a roof over my head. It's kind of like a mechanic. If you're a mechanic and you have to use these tools that are inadequate, they don't work properly, but it's all you got, you can find a way to make do to get the job done, but it makes your job hectic, not fun, not enjoyable. I mean, that's as easy of a way as I can explain what myself and probably a lot of other content creators that play Madden franchise are going through right now. When Madden's not hyped up, when the modes we play aren't given the proper amount of attention to, not only does it make our jobs harder, there's no way to really thrive, I guess. You're kind of in a holding pattern until something new and exciting happens. And, that sucks because it's really out of our control, because what we can control, what we can say and do, apparently, at least for the, what we feel right now, has fallen on deaf ears. But we got to wait until the franchise blog comes out, and we can make the final judgment on that, if we even get a franchise. But there's no way they skip on a franchise blog. But it could be disrespectful. It could be a disrespectful slap in the face type blog, and I'm trying to talk myself into A, getting prepared for that, and B, still trying to find a way to be optimistic when there's not a whole lot of optimism being shared from the powers that be. Because you look on social media, it's all about where's franchise, and we haven't got one strand of hope from any replies from people who at least know what the finished product of Madden is going to be. So all I can say is, at the end of the day, we're all in this together. Hopefully something good happens. Hopefully we get some surprises. They've talked about the AI fixes. CPU should be smarter this year. It sounds like, when you play Lamar Jackson, he's going to try to run the ball more, and little fixes like that are really, really important to the game. And, if I had to end this note end this video on a positive note, if they made and went all in on fixing, playing the AI, like user versus AI, single player franchise mode, making AIs play and call, playbook specific, team specific, make every team feel unique. If they went all in to get that right, I honestly might give them a pass, because that is something that they'll be able to carry over year to year to year. Getting that right, if that's what they had to spend all their time on, and it plays good, and you throw in just a couple really impactful scenarios, I honestly don't think I'm going to be too bitchy about it. But we got to wait and see. So there's your little bit of positive to try to end the video and try to enjoy the rest of your weekend. But again, that's all I can say is we're all in this together, and hopefully we come through it happy with the end product. So that does it for me today, guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys back here on the next one. Peace out.